Hello and welcome. In this video, I'm going to outline 4 steps on how to deal with difficult employees or team members. Now, this is an important subject, partly because it actually works in both directions, because if you have someone that you are managing who you find difficult, chances are that person is going to find you difficult as a leader as well. But there is a communication block that needs to be addressed. And this is an issue that is not only economic, but also very much a person-to-person issue as well, a human issue. Here in Australia, for example, a recent survey said that 25% of employees end up taking time off work to deal with mental health issues of various different sorts. So that's why when you put these questions into Google or your other favorite search engine, you will find a lot of entries. And there certainly are some good pro tips that are worth taking on board when you read through that material. But in my opinion, each of them has one lack. And the clue to that lack is this cap. Intrigued? Please stay with us and learn more. I'm Stephen Baroda, rabbi, educator, and I'm a certified professional. I help you to connect better with others by communicating on their wavelength instead of yours. So what is it about this cap that suggests why a lot of the solutions out there to dealing with problems in the workplace don't quite work? Well, this is the answer. It's an adjustable cap. Now, for a cap, that's fantastic because it means that you can concentrate on the design and you don't have to worry about the size. Anybody can use it. You just move the Velcro around, and whether you've got a small head or a larger head, it'll work fine. It's what's known as a one-size-fits-all solution. It's tremendous for a cap, but it's terrible for almost everything else. When you're dealing with people, it just doesn't work. Eimer explains why that is. So I'm going to outline the basics of Eimer to you, and by doing that, show you the 4 steps, as I promised, to how to deal with a problematic communication situation in the workplace more effectively. Now, if you're new here, please do consider subscribing to the channel so that you'll find out when I put up some new material for you to look at. So there's very good news, and that is that out of the 8 billion people approximately that now live on this planet, you have a lot in common with 2 billion of them. With 25% of people you have a lot in common with, which is really good. But there's a flip side, and that is that there's another 75% of people of which you have less in common with. And of those, 1/3 of those, 25% of the whole, again, 2 billion people, you actually don't share much in common with at all. And that's why, frankly, you probably find them quite annoying, which is only offset by the fact that they find you just as annoying. Because there are 4 different types of people. Eimer classified them as high red, high yellow, high green, and high blue. And I encourage you to download my free download product. It's a PDF and a video. It takes about 25 minutes or so to go through it all. That explains this in much more detail. You'll see the link appearing now on the screen, and it'll also be in the description below this video as well. I really do encourage you to download that in order to find out the detail of how this works and how it is that on what criteria Eimer breaks the world's population into these 4 colors. But the process of finding out which color you are, that's the I in Eimer, identify. Identifying your high color. That's the first step, because you need to know who you are. What is your comfort zone? What is your mode of being that makes you the most comfortable most of the time? Now, we're all a blend of colors, as the creator of I'm James Knight loves to say, but there's one that characterizes us the most of the time, and that is what we need to discover. So the first step is to find out, identify our high color. The second step is to identify the high color of the other person, of that problematic team member. And chances are you've got a color clash. And that is why you and that person are finding it difficult to communicate, difficult to connect, difficult to work together. So once you've identified your high color, and you've identified the high color of the other person, now you've got to make some changes in how you behave and how you communicate in order to bridge that communication gap. And that's where the M of IMA comes in. M stands for modify. You have to modify the message. You have to encode what you are wanting to say to that other person differently. That's what I call communicating on their wavelength and not yours. It's almost as if you have to speak in a different language. If you were dealing with someone whose main language was French and their English was pretty weak, then try to communicate to them entirely in English is going to be a problem. To switch to French, it already makes things a lot easier. So in a similar kind of a way here, you have to communicate with them on their wavelength in a way that they are going to be able to encode that message more effectively. So that's step 3, modify. And finally, we come to the A of IMA, and that is to adapt. To adapt the way that you communicate so that when you're dealing with different people, you're communicating in different ways. There are essentially, as we say, 4 dialects, if you like, that exist. And so therefore you have to sort of pick the dialect that is going to be the most effective with the people that you're talking to. And the A of IMA can also stand for accept, that you accept other people for who they are and the fact that they are not worse or better than you. They're simply different. And also that you appreciate the fact that they have tremendous talents that you don't necessarily have. But if we can find a way as a team to blend together the good attributes and the good qualities of all the various different people with all their various different colors, then that way people are happier, communication is more effective, and job satisfaction goes up, and turnover goes down, and everybody finds that they enjoy their workday far, far more than they ever did before. So those are the 4 steps. Identify your high color, identify the high color of the other person, modify your message so as to encode it in a way that the other person is going to understand it better, and then appreciate who they are, accept who they are, and adapt the way that you communicate in general, the way you come across to everybody according to what their high color suggests will work best for them. Now again, the details of how this works, how you identify your high color, how you identify the other person's high color are available in the download of How to Deal with Difficult People. It's a free download. A lot of my colleagues have told me that there's really too much information there for it to be given away for free, but I want to get this into as many hands as possible because I believe, as James Knight says, that IMA can change lives, IMA can improve the world, and therefore the more hands that we can get this in, the better. So please start by getting them into your hands by downloading the free download once you finish viewing this video. And also, please, if you enjoyed the video, please like it, please comment, and please share it with someone that you think might be interested in this material. Thank you so much for watching.